Critics say he was a system bag, that his 28 touchdowns weren't about talent. They were about running through holes so big anyone could have done it. That a high schooler could have averaged 5 yards per carry behind Jones and
Bills
Hutchinson.
week.
And honestly, there's evidence to support that claim. But before we get there, let's talk about what made Alexander different. He wasn't Marshawn Lynch. He didn't punish defenders. He wasn't Adrian Peterson. He couldn't break tackles like a freight train. Shaun Alexander was a glider. His vision was surgical. He'd find the crease, hit it at full speed, and be gone before linebackers could react. He had a 4.58 40 time, technically slow, but his acceleration through holes was elite. And here's what people forget. He didn't fumble. Over 2,000 career rushing attempts. He fumbled just 21 times. That's elite ball security. But here's a stat that destroys his legacy. In 2006, Steve Hutchinson left Seattle. The Vikings offered him a contract with a poison pill clause that made it financially impossible for Seattle to match. Hutchinson was gone, and Shaun Alexander collapsed. In his 2005 season, he had 1,880 yards, 28 touchdowns. Yet 1 year later, in 2006, he recorded just 896 yards and 7 touchdowns. His production was literally cut in half. Now, was that because of Hutchinson leaving, or was it something else? I'll let you decide. Drop your take in the comments, because this debate has been for almost 20 years, and I want to know where you stand. Was Shaun Alexander a product of the greatest hope?
It is time.
Is that yours?
Natalie and Clayton, are you ready? Let's get uncomfortable. Welcome everybody to Redacted on this Wednesday. So glad to have you all here. We've got a very busy show for you today because we are going to do a deep dive today on Pizzagate with the investigative journalist who broke the entire story wide open. She was the original. Liz Crokin is going to be joining us because these revelations in the Epstein documents, the 3 million of them, confirm almost all of her reporting when she was called a conspiracy theorist and a nut job, right?
Right, so a lot of us just kind of didn't really understand it. We're seeing it now in plain black and white writing in the Epstein files, and we're like, wait, that was real? So we're going to rewind the clock so that we figure out what were we distracted to not see? What can we now prove is true? How did this narrative shift happen? These are major questions, and I think the fact that, we sort of saw it as one crazy thing, and then now we need to go back and say, okay, what didn't we see? What can we learn from this, too? What can we not be distracted from next time, right? All of these are valid questions, so I'm looking forward to asking them.
Yeah, so Liz is going to join us here in moments, so thank you. Get in your questions, anything you guys have here on in the chat room. We're going to be talking with Liz in a moment. We're very excited about that. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Van Man, because you know that chemical cocktail that you're putting in your mouth every day, the toothpaste that you're putting in your mouth every day? Big Toothpaste has been selling you the same toxic formula for decades. The Van Man company is changing that with their miracle tooth powder. People are ditching traditional toothpaste by the thousands. Van Man's tooth powder uses real grass-fed cattle bone hydroxypapatate and the same mineral structure as your actual teeth to remineralize and strengthen enamel naturally. So zero fluoride, zero SLS, zero foaming agents. It's completely edible because anything you put in your mouth should be. So you won't wake up with that gross film in your mouth because there's no foaming agents destroying your natural saliva production. So make sure to switch to Real Oral Care. Go to vanman.shop/redactednews and use the code RedactedNews for 15% off of your first order. That's vanman.shop/redactednews and use the code RedactedNews for 15% off your first order. Van Man is real ingredients, no exceptions.
We also want to tell you about Shopify because, hey, if your New Year's resolution is to launch your online store or grow your online store, then you need to check out the offerings at Shopify. What you're seeing there is the Redacted store, which runs on Shopify. You know that because of that purple Shop Pay button. Anytime you see that on the web, on any online store, you know that that store is run by Shopify. So many big businesses are because it's easy. They have round-the-clock customer support, and they can support you with making a beautiful online store so it doesn't look like it was launched in the late 90s. It looks very beautiful, very today. They have a lot of intuitive tools that will help you launch to the world. You can get started by going to shopify.com/redacted and sign up for a 1-month trial period. They have everything you need to grow your business and make it beautiful. That's why not only do they sponsor Redacted, we are customers as well of Shopify and happy to do so. They handle everything from front end to back end, order
Shopify can send me
fulfillment,
a
payment
fucking
accepting,
check.
all of that stuff. So see for yourself. Head on over to shopify.com/redacted. One more time, that's shopify.com/redacted.
Well, the mainstream media called the Pizzagate story a fake story. Of course, nothing to see here. Of course, elites aren't sexually abusing young children. Of course, they couldn't be. That captivated journalists, as they say, as PBS News called it, it was the thrill of the chase for journalists, perpetuating fake news. This all started after WikiLeaks published thousands upon thousands of emails from then Clinton and Obama official John Podesta, and inside those emails were many references to pizza parties, all sorts of weird, potentially, coded words. And it struck one reporter as bizarre, as if the term pizza was code for something very dark, something related to pedophilia, perhaps. After all, John Podesta swims in creepy circles, to be sure. His brother Tony, for instance, seems to really love creepy child abuse artwork hung right in his house. Here's just a few examples of that. Our next guest, Liz Crokin, is the first journalist to actually connect the dots in all of this, putting all of this together. She saw patterns where Hollywood elites and politicians were openly communicating about child sacrifice, sex trafficking rituals, pedophilia, joking about it in emails, and yes, pizza, of course. Here's one example. Chrissy Teigen,
What the fuck?
married to John Legend. Here's just one example. Johnny and I are on our way to the Hollydale, and Karina Belanoff is serving a nice 4-year-old cheese pizza with adrenochrome. Okay, I never think to post
Why
something.
would you
Human
joke
flesh.
about that?
But that's not the only
Human
time
flesh
she
has
joked about that. Here's
adrenochrome.
a few more examples over the years. I'm 1,000,000% going to be a child from toddlers and
I
tiaras for
told you about
Halloween. Can
this
we
like
fast
3
forward
years ago,
time, please?
Jay.
I'm beyond excited.
We probably
I'm going to
talked about
jail
it.
over pizza,
You
she
know,
says.
I'm
I woke up
always
this morning with a
talking
pizza on my chest and ranch dressing all over me. So if you think I'm
Now
too
it's
good
all
for this,
nuts
you are
now.
sadly
Everybody said
mistaken.
we were nuts.
It's actually so ridiculous. Most of the plane just laughs hysterically when someone just comes on with pizza. And at the bottom, I finally went to the children's aquarium looking pretty pedo-bearish, cruising the parking lot, joking about being a pedophile stalker. I mean, it's so bizarre. Then the little seeing little girls do the splits half naked is just, I just want to put myself in jail. Toddlers and tiaras. So, journalist Liz Crokin took them to task, specifically Chrissy Teigen, and John Legend had something to say about that. You need to take my family's name out of your mouth before you get sued, John Legend wrote to her initial tweet. Chrissy, you run in circles with people who rape, torture, and traffic kids. This is a fact. I expose sex trafficking for a living. Liz is an investigative journalist who first broke the
There's
Pizzagate
video of
story
Chrissy
wide
Teigen
open from the
telling
2016
people, there's
WikiLeaks
only one food
emails,
that we
and
don't
we
eat,
have to
and we
give
need to
credit where
try
credit
it.
is due. Liz, welcome to the show. Great to see you.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me on. I gotta give some context though to the Chrissy Teigen feud.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm gonna start by saying that you posted some of her abhorrent emails where she's clearly promoting pedophilia, but I just want your audience to understand those are just some. She had to delete tens of thousands of tweets going back decades after we got into this Twitter feud. So that's number one. And then number two, the tweet where John Legend threatened to sue me, in that the tweet that I wrote, so he was quote tweeting me, I said you run in circles with people who rape, torture, and traffic children. Okay, so in that tweet you can't see it because this is, years back and before X, or when X was Twitter. But I actually posted 4 pictures of her with different known sexual predators and or pedophiles, and one of them would have been Harvey Weinstein, and another one was someone that John Legend and Chrissy Teigen did some kind of philanthropic event with, who actually had been charged and convicted of sex trafficking. So there is more context to that tweet, and everything that I said about them was 100% factual. So they did get into a huge Twitter feud with me for pointing out that Chrissy Teigen not only promoted pedophilia on her social media pages, and not just Twitter, by the way, it was Instagram too, but she was also promoting pedophile code words, including known pedophile code words
She's got
or symbols that have been identified by the FBI.
Yep.
So everything I wrote about Chrissy Teigen was 100% accurate, and then she fired back, days after I had tweeted about her, just kind of out of the blue. It felt like a very coordinated attack, and the next thing I know, I have her attacking me, millions of her followers attacking me. The Church of Satan defended her honor. Hooters and Chelsea Clinton. I'm actually not kidding. When she was we had this Twitter feud, like of the verified people that were defending her,
she ran off to California.
it was the Church of Satan,
and I never saw her again.
And Chelsea Clinton, like Satan's Spa. It's like you can't make this up. I'm like,
you
guys are really helping her case here by coming out. And then and then of course John Legend trying to sue me. This was in 2017. And still waiting for the lawsuit. I'm actually begging them over the years, please sue me. It would be wonderful if you're willing to promote pedophilia on your Twitter page, then imagine, what she's doing behind closed doors. And of course, it was just an empty threat. But then
it's worth mentioning, truth is an absolute defense. So what you are saying here is you are associated with known sexual predators, and you have proof, and you're saying that you are promoting pedophilia on your own social media, and that is undeniable based on just the snapshot we just showed. So none of this is conjecture. We are going to get into how you decoded Pizzagate into something which at the time was conjecture and no longer is. But what you're saying here is provable. There's no suit here because truth is an absolute defense.
Well, that's why they didn't scare me. And what these powerful people do is they use all different kinds of intimidation tactics to silence you. Sometimes they kill you, and it doesn't work for me. For me, it just pissed me off even more, and I doubled down on them. And so, but traditionally with a lot of people, these intimidation tactics work. But you're absolutely right. The media also, when they were recovering our Twitter feud, including the Today Show, they took it further to slander me, and the Today Show said I'm a self-described journalist. Well, no, actually, I had been working in the mainstream media for 2 decades, and I have a journalism degree, and that had been well documented, all over the internet, including on my Twitter page. And so the Today Show chose to misguide their audience and make it seem like I'm just this random person that woke up one day and decided that I'm going to be a journalist.
And as if NBC News, which is an extension of the CIA, Ken Delaney and these people that get handed information directly from the intelligence state, they are journalists? Give me a break. Give me a break. I can't even.
Right. What distinguishes you from them? I too have worked in the mainstream media. I guess that gives, because I've been ordained at one point by them, then I get that title. But if I had otherwise not, they don't have any other extra credentials than we do from a journalism degree. So middle finger.
Yeah, well, the only difference is that they're propagandists, and I tell the truth. I get the memo that you're not allowed to be a journalist unless you push the deep state talking points and protect pedophiles.
Right.
But they made it clearly after I started covering Pizzagate and went after me, and I lost all my jobs.
If I may, Pizzagate is an epithet for someone who's crazy. That has how they framed it in order to discredit anybody with the same way they use the term far left and things like that. But maybe you can tell us, let's go back a little bit further. How did you decode Pizzagate from the beginning, from the WikiLeaks debacle?
Okay, so what happened is, So in 2016, like we were talking earlier, how WikiLeaks
man,
released a bunch of
stop this
emails
fucking
exposing
nigga.
Democrats,
You got
right?
three-
And before
tag on it,
October,
three
I believe they
fucking
started
tags.
releasing the DNC emails, and those weren't as salacious. Like those emails exposed corruption, but it was things like Donna Brazile giving Hillary Clinton a campaign question, before a debate or a town hall. Fast forward to October, and that's when we got the October surprise from WikiLeaks, which was run by Julian Assange, and he released the Podesta emails. And most of
That's
the
what it
damning
was.
emails proving that
Podesta.
these people are involved in the rape, torture, and trafficking of children were in the Podesta emails. So when these emails started coming out in 2016, I was still working for the mainstream media. I was working for multiple publications, including the New York Observer and Town Hall. I had been covering the election for these outlets. And when the emails came out, I started reading them immediately. So I was reading them and then researching these emails in real time as they were coming out. And I started noticing that there were a ton of emails that used the word pizza and other food items in a context that clearly did not apply to food. Now, at the time in 2016, when I first started researching Pizzagate, and again, it was immediately after the Podesta emails came out, I found evidence online actually proving that Pizzagate is a known pedophile code word in pedophile circles. And it was actually defined as a pedophile code word by the Urban Dictionary, and it was still up and active when the Podesta emails came out in 2016. But here's what gets interesting. So I'd be researching the Podesta emails and researching, is pizza a pedophile code word? Like, what's the definition, the street definition or slang definitions of these words? And I would see, the Urban Dictionary or other sites pop up explaining that it's a pedophile code word. And then I would check back a few hours later the next day, and it'd be gone. It'd be gone. And so I watched in real time, you guys, how they would scrub evidence that pizza's a pedophile code word and other things. That's
Wait
just
a minute,
one.
wait. And were you broadcasting at the time about this, or you were keeping this to yourself as you were doing the research? So they were seeing somebody logging onto the website and checking this stuff out, and then they were removing it?
Yeah, so I don't know if I was doing my YouTube videos yet, but I was tweeting and I was writing for those publications. But I actually was tweeting in real time a lot of the things I was finding.
Wow. And they were starting to just scrub it. Who did you find out who was behind the Urban Dictionary?
Welcome to the
who
jungle.
funded it?
This was here
ran it in
every
your
day.
research?
That specifically,
Come to
that
my
getting scrubbed.
area.
And by the way,
Then
I
you
got a
gonna fuck
screenshot of
play.
it that I still have in one of my Substack
Now you
articles.
can give it to me now.
So I managed to get screenshots of a lot of the stuff they were trying to scrub. But what we learned from the Epstein files that were released 2 Fridays ago is that Jeffrey Epstein was working with an agency, and he was paying an agency to remove stuff from the internet and scrub stuff from the internet, and also flood the internet with articles about him. So this is not a secret. This is not something that they do. And I do believe that some of the things that got scrubbed, it'd be right after it. Like, I'll give you another example. There was an obituary and some other stories, including in some mainstream media, about how John Podesta's mother had adopted, I believe it was 25 children. And that's just weird. Like, who adopts 25 children? What's
you
going
watch
on
that?
here? And all the lines John Podesta's emails and the pop-up was in his emails.
About
And
that
so I
Savannah
tweeted about
Guthrie
that, and next
bullshit.
thing I know, like,
Mom
those
getting
sites are
kidnapped.
scrubbed.
Remember that?
And so
Did you
I
see
watched this stuff happen in real time, and then fast forward again 2 Fridays ago, we get it confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein was doing that. So if he was doing it, of course his pal and were too. This is one of the techniques that they used to hide the
NBC
truth
bitch.
from the
Her
public
mom
and
got
to make
kidnapped, I
it
guess, right?
to make
There's a
people
ransom?
like me appear to be
Sure.
less believable. Because here's
But
the thing: if
what's
we hadn't
funny,
scrubbed evidence that
if
pizza's
you
a
go
pedophile
look at the
code word in
speech she
2016
gave,
from the
she got a
internet, then
speech.
people would have
or
gone
note,
on the
whatever, to,
internet
like,
on their
kidnap
own
her, I
and
guess.
researched it, and it would have
There's
popped
a
up
line
and
she
said,
gives,
"Hey, maybe
word
Liz
for
Crokin
word,
isn't
with the
so
same line.
crazy."
The woman
Instead,
gives
they
when
would
her
Google it, and
person
they
is
would get no
kidnapped
evidence
in
of
the
it.
movie The Silence of the Lambs.
It's the incuriosity
She says,
just
"Talk to her,
floors
you'll
me,
find
and I
out."
think I saw this during COVID. Like there are some contraindications of taking this vaccine. Is the media interested? Not at all. Nope. Don't want to look there. This is just indicative of, hey, these are some concerning things. We're journalists. Don't we follow this? And the mainstream media is like, no, we actually no, we don't do that. So, what? I mean, how far did you have to go back to see that these code words were indicative of something? So
That's
this is
that
not
jungle
something
juice.
that, these nefarious circles made up. They were perpetuating it. I guess people who see this in Epstein think that they had just made it up, but that's not true. How far back does it go?
I think the Urban Dictionary entry is from 2010, but it's been used before then. Excuse me. They've been using pizza as a pedophile code word for a very long time, for several years. I think it goes back way beyond 2010. And it's my opinion that they chose the word pizza because pizza is something that children love. Pizza restaurants are where kids go to have birthday parties. Chuck E. Cheese is like a pizza franchise where, dedicated to kids. And so I think that that's why they chose pizza. I mean, I don't know who chose that word. To some pedophiles, it has different meanings. To some it's child porn. To others, it's just kids. But it is definitely a pedophile word. And so what happened after 2016 is I was able to go through all these emails and find that, Podesta and his pals were using pizza in a context that does not apply to food. So I'll give you an example. Tony Podesta had one email where he emailed John and he said, I'm going to get pizza for an hour. And it's, how do you get pizza for an hour? You can get a service for an hour. You can get a child sex slave for an hour. You can't get pizza for an hour. It makes no sense, right? And then some people love to say, oh, it's drugs. Well, how do you get drugs for an hour? Like if you're going to get cocaine, like
You
you're
can't
gonna
rent
get
a consumable.
cocaine,
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense either. And then there was other emails where it would be, there's one email where they talked about going to a pizza party, an adult pizza party, but there was a bunch of adults going to the adult pizza party, but they only had one slice, and they needed to know how many adults were going to be attending, so they knew how thinly to slice it. And then in between these emails, you would see emails. For example, Tony Podesta, like I'm still. Last night was fun. I'm still.
Oh, come on! He didn't catch
and then you look at other emails where they're not even talking about pizza, but they're talking about going to pool parties, adult pool parties, and having children there as entertainment. And then another red flag that is an
Sounds like the
indicator that
Nickelodeon
these
parties.
people are trafficking these kids is they list their ages, and so we see that in the Podesta emails as well, where there was one email in particular that was sent by Tamara Lozano. She was Hillary Clinton's chief of staff. She was a senator.
That'd be dope.
And she sent an email to, I believe, John Podesta
Oh,
saying
like
that
he
she
did?
would be
No,
providing
the
transportation
to me, it looked like he dragged that
children,
left
and
one.
she listed their three names with their ages
Shot.
for their entertainment for a pool party. Well, so I would read an email like that, and it's like, okay, this is weird. Kids, entertainment, pool party, the ages listed, and that's what traffickers do. They will list the ages because the clients, the customers, they have preferences, so they want to know the ages of the children because they're purchasing them, right?
I
And we
changed
saw
two.
that in
I
the
changed
FC
two
files as
fucking.
well with the new emails that were released 2 Fridays ago.
I might change 3 rounds.
So I'm looking at this
No, I'm
email
like, I'm
written by
trying-
Tamara Lozano.
trying to
she works
fucking
for
be
Hillary
patient
Clinton.
here.
She's
And
emailing
guess what I
John
noticed?
Podesta.
You know what I'm saying?
Then I
And
start
guess
looking
what I
at her,
noticed?
and I find out that she has
Huh?
a password
What I
protected
noticed?
website called
Not one
Lee's
turnover
Blog,
yet.
where people can see infants,
It's only my first
quote,
drive.
raw and uncut.
Still.
And there's all these pictures
Oh, they
of
do.
children.
They do.
And then
They'll
on
eat
the
you on
right
the
side
first
of
and
the
the last.
website,
All over
there
his
was
ass.
all
Watch
these
this was tossed.
tabs
Fucking.
that were
Yeah, that was
acronyms,
perfect.
or they were just
Because it didn't look. Now that patch.
so they were the kind
Like,
of
I'd be like,
words that you would
dude.
see.
Yeah, right.
know,
But you
on
didn't.
a-
That was also
on
didn't
a
rock
porn
it. No,
website.
no, it
You
was.
see
It was.
porn
No, that was a
websites,
rainbow, bro. That was a
porn
touch.
website, like,
That was a
remember
touch.
one
That was a.
baby Ambien.
I was throwing it.
All kinds of crazy, twisted stuff, and
You
I have
okay?
screenshots of all that stuff
You
too.
okay?
Back
You
then,
need-
that stuff. So when you take
Oh my God! Call
and then
911.
other emails, like children's entertainment, you're listing the children's
Yeah, he
names,
drugged
and
that.
then you
He
find
drugged
out
that
that this
He
woman
drugged
that's
them.
emailing about the
He
children
drugged
for
the whole
entertainment
team.
runs a
Shit.
website that literally has
Yeah,
all the
you're right.
markers
Yeah,
and
you got
all
that
the
down.
hallmarks of a child porn site. then you start to see the picture and it becomes very clear.
You
that
couldn't
these
tell,
people
so
are
you know what I'm
involved.
saying?
Right, they don't show you
Yeah.
how they want to
They
fuck with you.
purposely
Right.
Podesta,
Exactly.
That's
Hillary
crazy.
Clinton. I mean,
That it
I
could
keep
be-
hearing
do
from my
that.
sources, I mean, just how
And
how
I,
Hillary
shit.
Clinton is all tied into this, and she's seems to have skirted a
Wow.
lot of this by now. But and we're going to hear
What
from
do you-
her
yeah, you're
testimony,
missing it.
maybe, or maybe
When
she'll
it
plead
does
the fifth.
that,
I don't
you're
know.
missing
Bill's
it.
at the
What?
end of the month here.
Right,
You're
the
letting it
expectations
go
are
too far.
low for
I know.
them
You're missing
to
it. You're not
disclose. I
hitting
mean,
it.
how
You're
easy
getting
is
back
it to
down
just
here and
say
then you're
nothing to
hitting it.
Congress? People do it all the time.
Because you're double, you know,
Yeah.
because you're like, oh,
So
I mean, well, as of right now, she's acting like she wants cameras in there and full transparency, and,
I thought I was
Just
trying to get it
bizarre.
into the red.
and that she's
I'm
going
not
to
trying to
talk,
get it
but,
into
you
here.
know,
You can, but
have they
if
ever
you
told
miss
you
it,
about
it's gonna
anything?
bounce
No,
back at
so
you.
I doubt it, but
You
it'll be
gotta be
interesting.
right
We'll
on.
see.
so
Got it a little earlier.
In fact, I don't think you want to be
like, I don't want
I
to
think you
interrupt
want
too
to
much, but
just
like,
be before
I'm
the
trying to
red.
wrap my head around this because this is like
You're
at
in the
the time
plus
this was
100,
going
but not in
on.
the red.
I wasn't in journalism at
Yeah.
all. So, I wasn't involved with redacted. I was just a normal person working like a normal job, I guess. But why is it what I remember Pizzagate being is that there was a particular pizza place that the Clintons owned, and there was like a child sex trafficking ring in the basement. Why is that? I know it's probably just unpacking the propaganda, but why is that the only image I have of this? Like, none of this that you're saying now was ever like I had no idea it had anything to do with a ring of people. And it was like, how did they get me to believe it was just a single pizza place? And I believe like Washington D.C. that the Clintons had something to do with. Like, how did it get there?
and then they could label you
Because there was
conspiracy
enough
theorist
Podesta
because about that
emails.
one
Podesta
particular
was
pizza
fucking
place.
fucking.
And then that's how the mainstream
Chief
media
of
spun
staff
it.
or
Like,
some
oh, there's
shit.
nothing to see here. See, this is
Yeah.
crazy, right? I mean, maybe you can unpack that, and then I want to get back to my Hillary Clinton question.
Sure. So I'll explain that. Okay, so when those emails came out, people like me read them, researched them, and put the pieces together, and it was very clear for me quickly. I mean, it took like a couple hours of research, and maybe not even that, to figure out these people are trafficking children. So what Pizzagate always was, the definition of Pizzagate is that in 2016, WikiLeaks released the Podesta emails, and they were littered
Jungle
with known
Juice.
pedophile code words such as pizza and other code words, and it proved that John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, and their associates are involved in the rape, torture, and trafficking of children. That's it. That is the true definition of Pizzagate, and I've been saying this for 10 years. So what the media had to do, the corrupt, compromised media had to do, because this really did start going viral in 2016 on social media. What the media had to do is they had to create a psyop to distract from what the true definition of Pizzagate was. So that's when they weaponized the mainstream media from every network, from MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all the print publications. And they came up with a new definition of Pizzagate. And their new definition of Pizzagate is people like Liz Crokin are saying that Hillary Clinton is trafficking children in the basement of a pizza shop in DC. And that's Pizzagate. And that was never true. That is never what Pizzagate was about.
Where did that story even come from? Was it totally manufactured?
The entire media just started going with it at the same time. And again, like every network from Fox News, like Daily
Was that on
Wire,
you?
CNN, and because they understood that if people understood the simple and real explanation of Pizzagate, which is the Podesta emails prove that they're trafficking kids because they're using pedophile code words. That's it. They knew that if that definition got out to the masses, then they would probably figure it out. So they had to create a diversion, a new definition of it to make it sound so ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, Hillary Clinton's just sitting in the basement of a pizza shop trafficking kids.
Right.
So people wouldn't believe it. And then they took it a step further. You had people like Chris Cuomo go on CNN and say, hey, just so everybody knows, the Podesta emails came out via WikiLeaks, and just so you know, it's illegal for you guys to read these emails. We can read them, and we will report anything important that's in them, but you can't. So they had to scare and intimidate people from reading these emails because they understood that these emails were so damning and they can't be explained off. All the code words, all the pizza used in the context of this food cannot be explained up. So they
They
had to
changed my
scare
play without
people
me
into
looking?
thinking that they might get arrested if they read the Podesta emails, which is a complete and total lie.
Then they
So
won't
they
show
created a diversion, they created the PSYOP, they redefined Pizzagate into something it wasn't, making it sound ridiculous, making people think they're going to get arrested if they read the Podesta emails, and that's how they were able to cover it up for so long.
So, but if I may just circle back to something you said, that
Who the
these are
fuck was
known
that?
code words. The
They
FBI
went
has
up
known
top
this for a
my
long
guy,
time,
though.
and that's not
No,
crazy. I mean, of
that's
course
the
they need
first
to
time I've
you know,
got,
sort of
I got burnt like that up
decode
top.
code words for bad guys.
Uncovered
That's what
through
they're
the spot.
supposed to be doing. So you're saying this has been known for a long time, and that's shocking to me.
Yeah, so the code words have been known to the FBI and the DOJ for a very long time, and there's also symbols as well. There's actually also been multiple cases where law enforcement was able to arrest child sex predators because they used pizza as a pedophile code word. I think in 2017 there was a sexual predator named Steven Salamick who was arrested. Fast forward to, I believe it was 2024, there was a guy in College Station, Texas, that was
Captain
attempting
Obvious.
to prey on children and/or had child porn, and they were able to bust him because he was using pizza as a pedophile code word, and the FBI, by the way, was involved in that case, and they actually documented on an FBI affidavit that he was using pizza as a pedophile code word, and the agent said that he had been trained and taught that pizza is a pedophile code word.
6'5".
That I mean, you can go online right now. That is open source information. So it has been recognized as a pedophile code word by law enforcement for many years. And I'll take it one step further. Meta is currently in a lawsuit because pedophiles, well, guess what? Using pizza or the pizza emoji as pedophile code words to procure children on Instagram and or Facebook, and to prey on children or exchange child porn. And that lawsuit is currently going on right now.
So it's a narrative substitution. It's like there's something to see here, but let's give you this, and then because you think that sounds so crazy, you know, you don't see what's true behind there, which is
exactly
there's a ton of facts there that's worth looking into. That's not shocking, but
and then the next thing that they did is then they used a patsy to shoot up. So the pizza parlor in DC, Comet Ping Pong, in question.
Oh shit!
That guy that runs it, in my opinion, he's totally a pedophile. His entire Instagram page was just littered with not only pedophile code words, but pedophile slang. For example, he would write things like chicken lover with pictures of, you know, grown men with infants or toddlers. Chicken lovers, again, not a pedophile code word. That's a known pedophile slang. That means a gay man that is sexually attracted to a child. He had photos of children, you know, like taped or tied to tables. Like he was sexualizing children all over his Instagram page. You know, at his pizza shop with ping pong, he had bands that played at his pizza shop that would promote pedophilia. Just like Chrissy Teigen, they'd be on stage like talking about raping kids, talking about sacrificing kids, laughing about it. I could go on and on and on. And so what happened is that is an aspect of the story, but it's not like the true definition of what Pizzagate is or the primary definition of it, right?
Right.
So, but I will say that Comet Ping Pong did become the center of Pizzagate because of the redefining of Pizzagate, but also because there was so much evidence that there was pedophilia and sex trafficking tied to this restaurant online. I mean, it was just so blatant, just like actually probably worse than the Podesta emails. So what happened next is they used a patsy to shoot up Comet Ping Pong, and they claimed that this guy, you know, believed Pizzagate was real, and then got violent and walked into Comet Ping Pong and decided to shoot it up. And guess what? They didn't shoot anyone. The only thing that was shot was the server that allegedly had child porn on it, by the way, and somehow the door was closed and the bullet managed to go through the office door into the server, destroying the server, and that's it. And then fast forward to, I believe, a year and a half ago, the patsy that was used to shoot up Comet Ping Pong to make people like me seem crazy and violent. Better not believe Pizzagate, because, you know, this is what it leads to. This is the violence it leads to. So the patsy that shot up Pizzagate destroying
Fucking
the alleged
cheaters.
child porn.
Oh yeah.
Jacoby
the server,
Brissett.
10 for 10.
just happens to be
110 yards.
killed
Yeah.
by cops a
Never
year and a half
in his
ago
dreams.
in
Even
a routine
in his dreams, he
traffic
can't throw the
stop.
football.
So,
He's
you
like
know,
this.
riddle me that.
Right, cover up your patsy. Right, this is how it works. Whether it's some sort of MK Ultra mind control guy that they pull out of the woodwork to go and shoot up and to perpetuate this story, and then is nuts.
That fucking ridiculous.
The shop larger email connections to the Clintons and all of that. So I just want
Sorry,
to go back
guys.
here in the Podesta connection
You
here, and
got
her
kicked.
assistant
In
emailing,
the back of the head.
arranging with this
Like-
this porn website
his
and
name?
where people could log in, I
Ho-Chung
guess, and
Fu?
make their selections. I mean, how does this connect to Hillary Clinton? I mean, have
The
you
sushi
seen
eater.
direct evidence
The
where
sushi eater.
direct emails back and forth? There's a paper trail where she knows
Ho-Chung
that this
Fu.
is happening.
Well, we don't even need to look at the emails to prove that she knows this is happening. We can go as far back as to when she was Secretary of State. And
Liz
actually, the
Cochran.
mainstream media, specifically
The drunk
Chuck Todd,
investigative
reported
journalist
about
that
how
stumbled on
there was
Pizzagate.
pedophilia at the
Drunk.
State Department when she was
Well,
running
what's
it,
going on
and that
here?
she actively covered it up. So, you know, we don't even have to look at the
See,
DNC Press
Daisy.
emails to know that she
Here.
has covered up pedophilia and sex trafficking in the past. But what I do know is that the Clinton Foundation is involved in child sex trafficking.
Fuck, I had that shit.
Anthony Weiner's laptop
fuck,
has
Anthony Weiner.
evidence
Fuck.
on it that proves that Hillary Clinton is directly involved in child sex trafficking and crimes against children. And when I say evidence,
And they got all the
videos
names now.
and photos.
We're gonna hear
This was
that.
something that the NYPD investigated in 2016. This is something I covered myself in 2016. I had sources I talked to that
It's
knew
all a
what
distraction.
these NYPD
Pizzagate's a
detectives saw,
distraction.
and there was evidence
going on
proving
in
that Hillary
Israel?
Clinton was
Who they
actively
killing in
committing
Ukraine?
crimes against children on
What's
this
the world
laptop, and
war
not just
peace
her, many of
doing?
her associates, including Una Abedin. Anthony
Ah,
Weiner
but then
kept
they're
all
gonna
this
give them
evidence,
whatever
and
you do.
allegedly he
Ba-ba-da,
filed it in a
ba-da-ba.
folder called
They're
life
hiding something right
insurance.
now. They got
And
everybody
that-
fucking.
So
You
all
know what?
that case that the
Yep.
NYPD
All right,
wanted to
let's
act
get off of that. That's their fucking brainwash right there. That's their fucking brainwash. We're missing something. Take it easy in there, killer. Fuck. My phone's charging. No.
PD wanted to act on was then taken over by James
This is
Comey and
this
the
is the
FBI,
brainwash
and
stuff.
to this day nothing has come of it. However,
Gotta
in
fucking
2018, the Inspector
Knock
General's
your boot.
report on that case documented how the evidence on the Anthony Weiner laptop did prove that both Hillary Clinton and her foundation were involved in crimes against children.
okay.
And you guys,
All right, hold on. Now let's see. Doobie doobie doobie.
Energizing your soul.
Safe to Serve family. This midday power research presentation is going to be in the top 5.
Actually,
All right.
This past Sunday was the
He's on
Super
the
Bowl.
35.
On Monday,
He's picking
during
up the
midday
phone.
power surge, I briefly touched on that particular event. Naturally, I would return on yesterday, Tuesday, and give you more information. I chose not to for 2 reasons. Number 1, I was waiting for the dust.
The dust. The dusties.
oh shit. Wow.
Oh, snatchy, oh, snatchy. what had happened. Let's see what happened in El Paso. Cartel drones forced U.S. air shutdown. Oh yeah, that's right.
Exclusively on this
The
zone.
cartel
A
attacked
champion with a
the
disputed crown. A self-proclaimed king without a
The biggest thing that has changed overnight, I think, is the information coming out of the government for El Paso. Federal government drew a 10-mile circle over a major American border city and said nothing flies below 18,000 feet. So your private jets, your bigger jets, everything like that are going to fly above 18,000 feet. But nothing is going to land.
Playboy, they're kicking the ball.
So you have any idea. Temporary flight restrictions happen all the time. The president travels, they shut down the airspace. Okay? There is a wildfire, they shut down the airspace.
Right.
There is a hurricane, they shut down the airspace.
Right.
But that usually happens for a very limited period of time. I mean, we're talking hours, maybe in a natural disaster, a day or so. Okay? But 10 days?
If you can't fly in a hurricane, you ain't free.
10 days.
I mean, if you ain't free to fly in a hurricane, you ain't free.
So you have any idea? We look back in history, and the only time we can see this happen was when it was happening nationwide.
One of them had to stick
and it was
something in
9/11. There is no other time in American history where since World War II, that's as far as we went, since World War II, there has not been a single city shutdown of an airport for security reasons for 10 days. Never happened, okay? That's all the government said this morning. Special security reasons, that's it. Okay. That's a little disturbing. What does that mean? Now, an hour ago, the government came out and said, Ricky, what did they say? Can you give me the exact verbiage?
Yeah, we fucking.
I will try to read this as quickly as I can. They lifted it.
Now they're gonna run.
Within the last hour, saying that everything was kosher. That is not a direct quote. I can give you a new direct quote. That just happened in the last 18 minutes.
Okay.
Trump official told Fox News that the lockdown came in response to Mexican cartel drones that breached U.S. airspace. And here's a direct quote. Mexican cartel drones breached it.
Yeah, right.
The Department of War took action to disable the drones. The FAA and DOW have determined there is no threat to commercial travel now. So what does took action to disable drones mean?
We took them out.
Electronic.
And this was, my guess is, I mean, let me bring Jason in, because Jason, you're a military guy. You focus on military intelligence, and so I don't want to go too far out on a limb. But when I heard this, the thing that is important here is that El Paso is not just any city in Texas or America. It is sitting right at the most significant border crossing in the hemisphere. Okay. It is also near Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss is 1 million acres for the Army. And what's really important about Fort Bliss is it is the rapid deployment for Joint Mobilization Force. So when you're moving tanks or anything for the Army, you have to move a lot of stuff. It's all happening with Fort Bliss. Okay? It also facilitates all joint tasks. There's one other thing about this area. We have talked about this for years. The IRGC, the Iraqi Republican Guard, the terrorist organization, they have been in Venezuela and in Mexico working with drug cartels, mainly with their proxy, Hezbollah. We have the Crown Prince of Iran on here in about an hour and 15 minutes. And you will hear from the Crown Prince what he is expecting to happen in the negotiations. And I will tell you my opinion as well on what I think is going to happen on the negotiations. This is President Trump just making sure that the world knows we tried everything we could to deal with them.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
There you
My
go.
first thought was, is this the drug cartels, along with any kind of help or, anything from Hezbollah or
I just did.
Iran
Yeah. That's how they
doing
scored.
a counter on us?
Well, that's what
Don't
so
know.
you
Could have
took it.
just been a
They scored.
mistake.
You took the kick
But
off.
I'm glad
you
the Trump
fumbled, and they
administration
scored.
is all over this today.
Hey, like that at them
Watch,
apples.
watch what happens in El Paso
No,
in the
it's
next couple
8:40,
of
right?
days. Let's see if there's more news.
Okay.
Jason, comments on this?
Yeah, I think it's all just all we're really left to do here is speculate because we were giving no information whatsoever. So there's speculation on that. The reason why that angle rings a little true to me is because Mexican cartels are not going to disrupt business in a way of provoking a U.S. military response on the largest, most pivotal corridor for them. It's not good business. It makes no sense at all. So to me, and I'll give you another counter to this, but to me, it makes more sense if you put a 10-day restriction on a timeline that there's a very specific threat that they got forward knowledge of, and they were trying to get ready for it and get out in front of it. Now, all of that, the counter argument, all of that blows up when you consider the moron card. There is always a moron card, and someone could have just, instead of saying we're responding to something, in the immediate, but instead of saying that, they threw on the 10-day restriction for some random moronic reason. So it's all possible someone's just an idiot.
I can't. I mean, how does that possibly happen, Jason? I mean, you don't close down. I mean, that hasn't ever happened except for 9/11. That has never happened. So who would have the authority on their own just to go, I got to close the airspace for 10 days? I mean, wait, where's Tim Walz? Where's...
I should have never.
I mean, who would do that? Who would have the authority to do that?
Yes, I would say probably somebody in the FBI or DOJ, something like that would transmit that to the FAA, or there could have been the moron card somewhere within the FAA that just clicked the wrong button. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. We're trying to make sense of it, but to me, it's a very specific threat. Whether that's asymmetrical warfare they're getting ahead of before regarding Iran or whatever, or to me, they're just random cartel drones make zero sense. Because why provoke and screw up your business over a commercial drone to scout a route? It makes no sense whatsoever.
False
so
flag.
I don't think the full story's been told, and I don't know if we will get the full story, but we'll definitely be
We
watching.
have to start getting we have to get full stories. We have to. We cannot operate in this secrecy anymore. I want it secret for national defense, whatever.
They're always gonna
but at some
fucking
point,
operate
we
secretly.
have
Are you
to
fucking
know
kidding?
what's
you're not
going
entitled
on
to
in our
shit.
country.
not
Because
entitled to shit,
we just do. You can't. You
You don't get it,
There's
man.
not enough trust
It's
in
a
the country
big club and you ain't in
to
it.
just operate like this. And
You ain't
luckily,
eating
I think on
kids.
the side
You ain't in
of
it.
conservatives, we still do. We gained our trust back for the military. Hegseth has come in and set the military
Yeah,
back on
quarter,
track,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
we've regained our trust to some degree with the military, but it's not blind trust. The good news is there's no National Guard being deployed. There's no evacuation. There's no sirens. There's nothing. It happened at 4:00 in the morning. Don't know why. Could be an idiot guard that somebody pulled the trigger too soon or too
another
hard
distraction.
and closed it down for 10 days. But this one is puzzling, to say the least. Jason,
Puzzles.
do you think? Can I go down a conspiracy road with you?
That's my best road to
We
go
have been-
down.
I know. We have been trying to get the
You're on
Crown
board,
Prince.
John.
Ricky, I'd like you to chime in on this too. We've been trying to get the Crown Prince for weeks. Today is the day that everybody's meeting, and Benjamin Netanyahu comes to the White House tomorrow, and we're going to be finding out if we could do a deal or not. I personally don't think we're doing a deal. I mean, I can't imagine the deal that we could get that the president would go, okay, that was worth them slaughtering 37,000 people and us just going, okay. I can't imagine that. I think this is just to tell the whole world we've done everything we could. We exhausted every avenue. Because we also cannot be responsible for the downfall of Iran. That has to be with the people. But we can support them and show them that, we have an armada off the shore. Is it a coincidence all these things are happening and then we get the Crown Prince of Iran this week?
Do you want me to put my Stu hat on or Ricky conspiracy theorist?
So Stu, I know what Stu would say. Get over it. Of course not. Okay? And he might be right.
I think it's interesting that one of the highest profile Iranian dissidents and critics of the current regime, whose family is targeted for death, I'm sure, by the regime, tells you at the end of the interview, which is coming up soon. We taped this yesterday, you'll hear it shortly, that he was grateful to you for changing all of your social media avatars to the original Iranian flag that existed before the regime came in. Is the second Iranian dissident that you've had on this program that called that out and said that people on the ground in Iran have noticed that you did that and they appreciate your show of support. What I didn't appreciate about that is that he basically just told the regime, you're standing with the Iranian people, and he just put a big target on your back.
Let him. Right is right.
Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions, just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.
Interviewed the congressman who saw the unredacted Epstein files. So we have a lot to talk about. Lock in, boys and girls. We have to make fun of idiots because these guys are incredible. So this is the released document. We talked about it in the previous video. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and to focus on her, Trump told Blank that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein. All right, no one can explain how Epstein made his money. All right, no one talked about this. But essentially, Donald Trump was an actual, literal FBI informant. An actual FBI informant to help get Jeffrey Epstein arrested. All right, now that's pretty insane. That's actually insanity. Now this was like the smoking gun, the end, it's over. Like holy crap, they ended up accidentally vindicating Trump. Now we know why the Biden administration didn't want to release the files. All right, the Biden administration did not want to release the files because it vindicated the guy they're trying to make believe is him. The irony is, right, Epstein was besties with all the Democrats, right? Every Democrat was friends with Epstein, and Trump was a Democrat in those days, right? So it's exclusively a Democrat issue. The one Democrat that didn't party with Epstein was Trump. It's crazy. The one Democrat that didn't party with Epstein.
How you like
Trump.
that, America?
Yeah. Anyway, so now, of course, they tried their absolute best to still try to ignore the actual smoking gun evidence of his innocence. Try to push as many hoaxes as they possibly can. For example, Trump is in the unredacted Epstein files more than 1 million times. Raskin alleges. First of all, you mean to tell me that there's 3 million Epstein files and Trump is in over 1 million of them? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is the most obvious lie in the history of the world. Second of all, this doesn't mean any wrongdoing was done. By the way, it doesn't mean anything. First of all, it's a lie. Like, he was not mentioned. He's not in 1 million of the 3 million Epstein files. You think every third email Epstein ever made was about Trump? Get out of here, bro. All right, Epstein liked Trump, like Hassan liked Asmongold. All right, like get out of here, bro. They fucking hated him. He tried to make sure that he didn't get elected. He tried to bury him. All right, so get out of here. Miss me with that shit. He was colluding with Obama on making up the Russian hoax to prevent Trump from becoming president. All right, like it's obvious insanity.
You don't want me to
More
fumble
than
it?
a million times. All right, so
Come
again,
on, man.
Epstein file comes out proving that Trump is innocent, or he's mentioned in them many times, right? And they keep trying to do this. All right, so ABC News, a former police chief who investigated Jeffrey Epstein in mid-2000s, told the FBI received a call from Donald Trump at the time to say, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this, according to an FBI account. So now ABC News is releasing an old call that they had in the 2000s about how Trump was trying to do this. Absolute insanity, by the way. Absolute insanity. It's crazy shit. Now, look at how the Daily Beast is reporting this. President Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files more than 1 million times, according to a top Democrat who reviewed the Justice Department's unredacted version of the document. What the fuck? Are we serious? Like, are we seriously doing this? Like, this is insane. How can you possibly write an article that's more bad faith than this? This is the most bad faith article I've ever seen in my entire life. All right? He's mentioned many times. Yeah, they talk about how he called the FBI on him to put him in jail. Like that, for example, one of the times that he's mentioned. He's also mentioned specifically when Epstein was working with the Obamas to make up a Russia hoax to prevent Trump from getting elected. Right? Zero context. He's mentioned a lot. All right? So this retard says he's mentioned 1 million times, which is an obvious lie. And they're not that retarded. They know he's lying, but they'll still parrot it. I mentioned 1 million times according to top Democrats. All right, dude. So, all right, you have the retards on the left, like the Harry Sissons of the world, losing their mind. All right. So, which one is it, MAGA? Did Trump not know about Epstein's crimes, or did he know about Epstein's abuse of little girl for years and only reported to the police after Epstein was arrested? An investigation has been ongoing. Can't have both. Well, I'll explain to Harry Sisson because he's retarded. It's very simple. Trump knew Epstein was a creep. He didn't know what his actual crimes were. So when he heard that there was an investigation into Epstein, he called the police to try to help. Duh! It's the most obvious answer of all time. What are we even talking about? But this is insane. Holy shit, Harry. Well, what is this witch hunt? Don't you want the actual rapists and pedophiles to go to jail? No, you don't. Because the left doesn't care. The left actually likes rapists and pedophiles. That's why they import them in their country and try to prevent them from getting deported. Yeah, that's what they do. Now, no one actually wants to talk about the actual facts. In 2004, he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. 2005, reported Epstein's behavior to the authorities. 2009, and then Epstein in 2008 was arrested for child prostitution. 2009, cooperated with Epstein's victim's lawyer. 2017, signed an executive order targeting human trafficking. 2019, Epstein arrested during Trump's presidency. 2019, FBI raided on Epstein's island.
Another one.
4 years of
We
absolute
got another
silence.
one.
2025,
We the
release the
best.
Epstein files. Oh my
We the
God,
best.
these people are unbelievable. Yeah, so
We
if
got
anyone that actually
another
looks
one.
at the timeline doesn't draw the conclusion that Trump, look, if more information comes out that proves Trump's a pedophile, I want him to hang. All right, I'll be real. But like we literally have straight up innocent until proven guilty, and this dude's been proven innocent as fuck so far. Giga innocent so far. It incriminated a whole rat fuck cluster of Democrats. Don't get me wrong. Those guys were. But the irony is no one cares because they don't care about justice.
You know
they only
what
care
you
about
call that?
politics because they're
gang.
immoral shitbags. Now, I've been saying this for a long time, and Asmongold was against me on this. All right? I've been saying that there's no evidence Trump did anything wrong. If there was evidence Trump did something wrong, the Democrats would have released it under Biden's term. They tried to fucking kill him
That's
and
what I
jail him,
said.
for God's sake. They would have released Epstein files that incriminated him. But they didn't. And in my opinion, they didn't because they didn't have anything on him. I've been saying this from day one. All right,
They've
I
been
got
trying to
so
get
much shit in the
something out
beginning,
of him
but now that the
somehow,
narrative is
somewhere.
turning my way,
So if they
I'm
had
very
it,
excited
they
to see
would've
what
had it.
everyone else has to say.
They would have
Apparently,
they showed
this
their
is
hand.
what's so
Every time
fucking
they got a
insane.
good
I
game,
did
they
not
showed
expect
that
this to happen. Trump was one of the first people who was a
Well,
whistleblower
what they
on
thought was
Jeffrey
good.
Epstein. More evidence that Trump was the original Jeffrey Epstein whistleblower is coming out in the court
Sometimes
documents.
it's
Trump was responsible for Epstein's first conviction. So you remember whenever this came out?
When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI
This was months ago.
informant.
I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that, he helped me. He got on the phone. He
That dude's
told
a
me
homo.
things that were helping our
You have to give him
investigation.
I now see why Biden didn't release the Epstein files when they had 4 years to do so. I don't think anybody was predicting this. This is the file.
Not you. This guy right here.
I predicted
This guy's a homo.
I was
He can
completely
send me a
correct.
check.
All right? I was right, by the way. I predicted this. All right.
Nobody
Let's
in
just
this
be on the
house
same
go
page
home.
here for a second.
That shit
I
go
had the
flat.
theory that the left is fucking scared of Trump because Trump isn't like one of the corrupt politicians like everyone else. He's his own breed of corrupt politician. All right, he has his own agenda. He can't be bought off by the retards in Congress. He's already a billionaire. All right, Trump has his own agenda. He does his own shit. And they're terrified of that because they can't control him. So I think that's why they wanted him jailed and killed. So if they quite literally had a smoking gun in the Epstein files that said he raped kids, nope, they would have used that shit on him.
Knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil and to focus on her. Trump told Blank that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein. No one could explain how Epstein made his money. Prince Andrew was a fixture in Palm Beach, so Jeffrey Epstein thought that Trump ratted him out. Epstein came to
Trump did rat him out. Oh my God, the Trump-is-based jar is getting fuller and fuller. And another penny into the Nux is always right, Count. Let's do it. By the way, this is a rare moment. Okay, I'm sorry to take the victory lap. Alex Jones was wrong about a conspiracy, and I was right about it. All right? Let that sink into your head. All right? Alex Jones was throwing up in his car, all right, about the Epstein files, saying that Trump's a pedophile. All right? Alex Jones was wrong about a conspiracy, and I was right. That's right, baby. Hell yeah.
Believed that it was Trump who had first caused him to be investigated by the law enforcement in 2005. This is also one from 2016.
Bill Clinton.
Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems. That island was really a cesspool. There's no question.
Yeah, he was calling this shit out every year, all the time.
That was
It's
2015.
crazy. Take a penny from the Alex Jones is always right jar, and put a shekel into the Nux is always right jar.
About it, just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute
I got somebody
cesspool.
vouch for me to talk about
has
that
quite
shit way back
obviously
then.
conducted himself in a manner unbecoming.
Barely
Yes.
anybody would talk about it.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
It was just like, you know what this reminds me
Oh my God.
of? This reminds me
Yeah, the British
of
government's
when
toast.
they,
Convicted sex offender.
it reminds me of
bad.
right before they got boys to go into girls' bathrooms in the schools. Because I was saying that shit, dog. I remember I was talking about that shit. I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but I damn near got into a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was like, "Stop talking like that. Stop saying that shit. You're the one that's doing that shit. You're saying that shit." I'm like, ain't nobody even shut the fuck up. Fuck out of here with that stupid ass shit. Yeah, I'm telling you what they're gonna be, what they're doing, what they're on. Niggas, man, thought I was on that shit. Same shit with this shit. Dude, Michael Jackson is on the Epstein fucking list. And fucking, I think fucking Macaulay Culkin got fucked. And he likes it. And that's why he covers for Mike.
It was a convenient place to stay. There was,
Right. That I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. Find out the people that went to the island.
Yeah, why is he in the clear?
Weird how he's been calling for that the whole time.
He's not in the clear, but what it was showing is that before any public scrutiny occurred, Donald Trump expressed concern about Epstein.
And it was while he was a Democrat.
Directly to the authorities. It seemed pretty obvious to me that Donald Trump and Epstein were pretty close at one point. It's very hard, really, for me to say that, you know, like, this guy's totally innocent. But at the same time, whenever you're the guy that's ratting this person out before anything ever happens publicly, then I do think that looks very good on you, Prop.
Dude, someone in my chat just said the ultimate cope. Trump could have complied with the government out of convenience, which shows he had no integrity.
Yeah.
But they had no integrity, and he did, yeah. No, so this Epstein guy, he really sounds like a, as the British Prince guy says, a relatively impolite individual. He was very impolite when he was, you know, raping all those children and then proceeding to eat them. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, anyway, Trump back in the news. All right, he did a little Fox News interview making fun of Somalia, like any intelligent person should do. I know a lot of people are saying that you should make fun of Somalia so much, but I should, actually. Because they fuck their cousins and they mutilate women, okay? All right? They stop doing that. All right? They stop mutilating women. 99% of women in Somalia are mutilated. They stop mutilating 99% of women, and I will stop making fun of them. That's probably not true. I'd probably continue to make fun of it, but like, let's tell them that. So we'll put the bar somewhere.
So you're going to still go after the whole waste, fraud, and
Well, I
abuse
am
issue.
in Minnesota.
Fumble
Take a look at
and
Minnesota.
Minnesota?
oh, and then
Dude, these motherfuckers ain't playing with us, dog. Even when they first drive the game, they just ran. It was 7, 10, 7, 10.
What they've done
Right.
with that fake
Fumble in the
Congresswoman,
end zone.
she's so bad.
I barely, the kick return. The kick return. I didn't do nothing
Congresswoman
different.
Ilhan Omar.
Nigga,
Right, so
pop
she's
my
currently
ass.
getting investigated for all sorts of fraud.
Damn, I
Don't
fumbled
worry,
the ball
this is
every
not a
swing.
tangent. This is still the same subject. Ilhan Omar then tweeted, and this is amazing.
they do,
The leader
they
of the
get this
pedophile protection
They
party
get this little surge
is
of
trying to
electricity.
deflect
Reminds
attention
me
from
of
his name being all over the Epstein
zombies, Call
files.
of Duty.
At least in
Yeah.
Somalia, they
When
execute
you-
pedophiles, not elect them.
Pull your gun out to
So it's
aim.
got
and
29,000
kinda
likes and million views.
charges the-
And
Yeah,
she
charges
refused, and she
the-
turned off comments.
the attack,
They go
the
fast.
This is
attackers,
the
right?
most evil,
You gotta go-
slanderous
you
shit
pull the
ever,
trigger.
right?
It's a
Saying
Pull the
setup.
trigger
someone's
even
in
more.
the
It's
Epstein
a setup,
files.
right?
Again, he's in
It's
the
like
Epstein
setting the
files.
fucking thing. As
That
soon as I
literally
go pull trigger,
vindicated
like
All
slam
right,
on
they
me
were-
like
that's
It's
two.
like an
All
auto
they
flip.
execute
Like,
pedophiles in Somalia,
yeah,
but do
you
you know how they
down,
define pedophile in
It's like
Somalia?
an auto
They define
flip,
pedophile in
you know?
Somalia, raping
Like once you pull
a
the trigger
baby
first, you know.
that didn't start puberty yet. That's the definition of pedophilia in Somalia. Once puberty started, they could get married in Somalia. That's right. You could marry a 10-year-old there. Okay? If puberty started. So, yes, technically true, they execute pedophiles, but the
That's not
definition
if
of
they're old enough to
pedophilia
bleed,
is very
they're old
different
enough to
than
breed
normal
shit.
cultures that aren't rape
That's where that
cultures.
comes from.
Did you know rape was legal in Somalia 5 years ago? Did you know that? You probably didn't know that. Did you know that? Did you know rape was legal 5 years ago in
And in
Somalia?
Pakistan.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So she's trying to make believe Somalia is like some superior place. Ilhan Omar, go back to Somalia. All right, it's so good. Just go back over there, guy. Go back. All right, do it, please do it. Now, Jasmine Crockett, she's also been pretty upfront with her entire ideology.
It is
regarding Epstein.
it is so. I don't really know where we are in this country. Why are we even having this conversation?
lost.
The United States is falling apart right now.
Is it?
Partially because he's going out and randomly allowing for the killings of people in the middle of the street. But
Yeah, no one's allowing for the random killings of people in the middle of the street. But again, she just lies. She just lies.
the other part of it is that we have a 34-count convicted felon, and there are people that are still shielding him from.
Is she against convicted felons now? Are we against convicted felons? Because if so, I'm sure that the black community would have a lot of things to say about you. I actually have faith that people could evolve and grow and change.
Any type of accountability as it relates to a child sex trafficking ring. It is.
It has all the classics that I love. All you have to do is plug in the HDMI at the back. Boom.
Oh.
This new system has better hardware, better control.
Give us a beat. Throw some sting on it.
Make it nasty.
And not 40,000 games of every PS1 game. All
He is not tied to this ring, actually, at all. There is no evidence of anything.
It's time to take the blinders off. Like, I don't understand why we are pretending like any of this is normal. And I think that that is the level of frustration.
We elected Donald Trump to deport every single legal alien. Every single legal alien has to go. And because she doesn't like reality or democracy or quite literally anything that is intellectually stimulating at all, it's not easy to have a conversation with an 85
Those guys
IQ
sporting.
individual.
Like
And
live
Jasmine Crockett is
or
1975,
fucking
so that's
NBA
worse.
Jam or
So
fucking
the reality is, this is
NASCAR,
crazy, dude.
fucking
This is insane.
Madden.
That so many people are bringing, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, specifically to the
NBA
Epstein
2K.
file situation.
I've seen a lot
Because
of these
right now we know that they were willing to try to
commercials.
throw the Clintons in prison for not showing up, yet they won't even
Yeah,
allow
sure.
us to bring other people into committee who we know are mentioned in these files and mentioned so much more.
First of all, literally untrue. What are we talking about? They're calling in a bunch of people to testify in the Epstein files, as they should. Bill Clinton was on Epstein's island. He was in pools with Epstein and redacted women of redacted ages. All right? They should testify. They refuse to testify. They should go to jail. They were in contempt of court. They should be in the slammer. Like, she lies like she breathes.
When we went through the hearing as relates to the Clintons, I said, listen, we know that Donald Trump's name is mentioned more.
It's not about if your name is mentioned. It's about if your name is mentioned in an incriminating fashion. Okay? Epstein was talking about Jesus and Mohammed. All right? I don't think they're bringing Jesus and Mohammed to the stand. All right?
Yeah.
Not everyone mentioned in the files is automatically guilty. All right? There needs to be context. Now, the context for Trump was they tried to make sure Trump didn't get elected to be president, and Trump was in the files literally exposing Epstein to the FBI. What are we talking about? Yes, Donald Trump was mentioned more. Donald Trump is the most famous person on the planet, my guy. Donald Trump is the most famous person on the planet, and he has been for the last decade, whether you like it or not. He is the most talked about person in the world for the last decade, and it's not even close. All right? Every single government in the entire Western world came together to try to come up with ways to prevent Donald Trump from winning his elections, and he might have won 3 of them. All right? So, again, she's retarded.
Bring him in too. Like, I'm not saying that this should be partisan. This should be whoever. I want to be clear about that.
Whoever is mentioned in 3 million files, woman, that's everyone ever.
For the Democrats, this isn't partisanship. This is about right versus wrong.
Yeah, I agree. It is about right versus wrong. But this is mega cope. Insane cope. But his name is mentioned there. His main. For the Democrats, this isn't partisanship. Oh, really? Then why were the Democrats silent about the Epstein files during Biden's entire presidency? Yeah. So anyway, this is Jasmine Crockett's actual strategy. She's a congresswoman. This is Jasmine Crockett's actual strategy, and she admitted it.
He seemed to accuse Republican Lee Zeldin of taking money from Jeffrey Epstein, but it seemed like if it was not the same person, I wonder, like, is there times in which the rhetoric goes too far? Are there times in which you should say, you know, maybe I messed that one up?
Yeah, so for the record, what he's referring to is when Jasmine Crockett took the stand and said, oh yeah, well, all these Republicans took money from Jeffrey Epstein, but it turns out it was a different guy named Jeffrey Epstein. It was some doctor, Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, that contributed to Republicans. And she said, Jeffrey Epstein donated to all these guys. And then they called her out on it later, and she's like, well, I technically didn't lie. All right, dude.
No, not in this environment. I don't. I think that, we are really in uncharted territory.
So I hear your argument that you're reflecting the urgency necessary, and so that's why you won't give an inch.
Correct.
Wow, great job from that Vox reporter. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you admittedly lied about Lee Zeldin getting a campaign donation from Jeffrey Epstein. You won't admit that you were wrong. You won't admit that that was a bad thing to do. You literally lied, but it's okay because Trump's in the White House, therefore it's worthy of lying about these things to just stop Republicans at all costs.
Okay. Exactly. Completely and utterly true. So the reality is, Jasmine Crockett's actual strategy is, it's okay to lie if it hurts Trump. That is her strategy. So when she says Trump's in the Epstein files, she knows that implies he's a pedophile, even though there's zero evidence that he's a pedophile. But she doesn't care, because it's a lie to hurt Trump, so it's okay. The left has no morals, all right? They don't. They do not have a grounding moral system, all right? So from their perspective, all right, if you kill Charlie Kirk, that means they took out a very, very, very effective right-wing operator. If they shoot at Donald Trump, well, that's good, because that's furthering their political goals and ideals. If they lie to convince people things, like stuff like this, saying Trump's name is mentioned more than 1 million times, which is, like, obviously untrue, the reality is, they don't care, because they're more than happy to say this, because it does further their agenda. Quite literally, that's the point. They don't believe. They see the 10 Commandments as a checklist, all right? An actual, like a checklist. They don't care. All right, so this is Bill and Hillary Clinton in their house posting videos screaming about how Trump bad.
These people will stop at nothing. And yes, the Russians helped them last time. The Russians are helping them now. And you cover the White House.
Are we serious?
That the White House has said, don't read the Congress. Don't even tell them in classified settings what the Russians are doing. These people.
Hey, Bill Clinton, did you rape that child? Hillary says, Bill, I got this. The Russians are controlling the United States. My guy, no one is falling for this. No one's falling for this. All right, so Ro Khanna, one of the guys that actually saw the mostly unredacted Epstein files, showed up and did list 6 names.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday, Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files.
Everybody just run.
We spent
like,
about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still
You want them on
redacted.
their own, I'm sure you want them on their
In
own
fact,
38 versus
there
your
were
41.
6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake. And now they have revealed the identity
Speaker,
of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leah Payne,
Salvatore Navora, by the way, left-wing politician.
Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World,
All right.
and
Muslim Sultan guy.
Billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner.
I'm pretty sure that's the owner of Victoria's Secret. I wonder where Epstein got his women from. I don't know.
Was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public?
Fantastic question. Anyway, he continues yapping a bit, but that's not really the point. Now, the crazy thing is we have people like Roseanne Barr, all right, who was canceled. Her show was canceled by the left for being a bit too edgy and stuff. You know, what's pretty insane is she's been calling this out for a very long time.
You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats.
It's
not
that
just the
golf bag
pets.
that I was telling you about, actually. Positive.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh and they drink human blood.
Whew! Mega vindicated. Holy crap, man. Like, if you want to see more on the cannibalism shit, you should watch my previous video on Epstein. But, like,
She's
it
made
is
out to
crazy.
be
She called it.
crazy.
Now you understand why her show got canceled.
Exactly.
Now you
The world
now
is
you,
a
now
stage,
you understand
man.
why her show got canceled. It's because, well, you know,
where's she
it
at,
turns out.
dude? She needs to be like.
She's
She got called-
everywhere
She was
still.
called out for
Yeah,
some
she's- I'm
pretty
thinking about
creepy,
she's-
suspicious shit.
That's why
also,
they
I gotta say,
play
Roseanne
her to be
Barr,
crazy.
absolute
She's
legend.
not
Those of you
fucking
are
crazy.
supposed to know.
Dog,
You
I've
might
been-
not be aware of this.
dog, when I realized
Actually,
who she
Roseanne
was-
Barr is a fan. That's right, a fan of the show. She is a
play.
fan of the channel. I have nothing but respect and
I was looking at the
appreciation
bag.
for
I kept
a
saying
woman
look at
of
the
good
bag when I
taste.
play.
Absolutely based. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
All right. Anyway, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. All right. I will continue telling the world about how they're eating babies in your name. All right. Anyway, so the point that I'm trying to make is
That's the
Jeffrey
one you
Epstein's
showed me?
scandal is getting
That's the one, no.
that
That's
people
the
are
one
getting
that's the
arrested
one
for
I'm
told
pretty
about.
saw, yeah.
all right, Jeffrey Epstein wakes up security across the world. 7-year-old
That's
pilot
badass.
trafficked
Right?
migrants and ran a network in Brazil related to
You
Jeffrey
don't gotta
Epstein. Was
fucking worry
arrested
about
before taken.
you know, like folding them and breaking them, catching them wherever.
So this is insane. We got fucking perverts and retards dropping like flies everywhere. All right, so CoffeeZilla just interviewed Ro Khanna, this congressman, and I'm excited to see what
I'm getting the season
Today
pass
I interviewed
again.
Congressman Ro Khanna on the Epstein files. He's one of the origins of the Epstein Transparency Act, along with Thomas Massey, who I also tried to get
I
on
actually
the
was gonna
show.
talk to you
They're a
about something.
Republican-Democrat duo who have
We
been
go
fighting to
fucking
get the Epstein files
either France or
publicized, and it's
Spain
my privilege
for
today to interview.
$1,000
They're one of the
each.
few people who's actually been on
By the way,
wine
it's weird to me.
It's
I
a
watch
10-day
all
class.
of CoffeeZilla's videos on the Epstein things, and I think he does a really, really good job compiling the
Yeah.
creepy shit and the lies.
Never
He
been
never
this
mentioned the
way.
Epstein
Never
file
been
that
that.
vindicated
Me
Trump.
neither.
By the way, I find that weird.
Weird.
I find that weird. But anyway,
Weird
The
science.
unredacted Epstein files. What did you find?
Well, first, we found that they were protecting the identity of 6 men. I mean, Massey and I went for 2 hours, and there were 6 men who were listed as co-conspirators, and their names were redacted. I went to the floor of the House of Representatives today, and I
brother went
called
on a
out
fucking
those 6
cruise,
men
so-
by name.
Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze,
Oh yeah, we're
Leah
true.
Payne, Leonor,
I don't even
Nicola
know.
Caputa,
20, I guess like 20 of his
Ahmed
homies.
bin
What?
I guess like 20 of his homies.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Man.
Why,
Should have threw that.
why would he not invite you?
Should have threw that my way. It didn't look. I would have liked to have. You heard about it, like you given you
That's what I'm saying.
an option.
Yeah, what the
Yeah, that
fuck?
would have been badass.
Your own fucking brother. Yoink. Ugh. Their defense. Man.
Sulian, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner.
We need courage in this country to hold people accountable who have been accused of some of the most heinous crimes. I mean, men who either underage girls or went to Epstein's Island knowing underage girls were being or paraded around.
One of the biggest parts of this story has been the meta story of the cover-up. Every time it seems like they're going to get the files out there, it's like opposite day. They redact names they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They miss deadlines. They mischaracterize evidence. You know, just recently I saw an FBI memo that they're...
That statement right there, when dude said they were hanging around with dude, abusing underage, raping underage girls, right? Or fucking being there knowing they were parading them around, right? That fucking, if that should make your own crimes look like nothing. You know what I'm saying? It really should do, because that shit's bad. No, that shit's insane. That shit's insane. That
There were no cameras in bedrooms of Epstein's house. And then you look at the photos the FBI took, there's a camera in his bedroom. So I just want to understand this. To me, this looks like a cover-up.
Yeah.
But who
dude, let's get...
A cover.
Great question. Get actual people in the government to say it's a cover-up.
What are they covering for? First of all, do you agree with that? And who do you think they're covering for? And if you think they're covering it up at all?
It's obviously a cover-up. It's probably one of the biggest cover-ups in American history. I mean, they're covering up for rich and powerful people who visited...
Bro, we gotta gut the FBI. Get rid of the global hobos. You know what I'm saying?
This island where young girls will be... The American elite, the global elite, that's just shaking the British monarchy. And they toppled the British government. It has the Norwegian princess now not being able to be a queen. I mean, it's had international reverberation.
Of course, I'm so glad you brought that up. That's one of my biggest problems with the story. Internationally, there's some accountability, you know, however small. I have seen zero accountability in America. And so, look, while I appreciate the transparency, I was talking to friends, people who follow the show, and they said, where is the accountability? Are we going to see a single person in America, besides Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein, face justice?
Well, that's why I went to the floor today and named these people. I wanted those names public. I mean, if the Justice Department isn't going to do their job, if the FBI isn't, the members of Congress can take to the floor and start naming names, and that's why I did that.
Yeah, King Charles, Prince William freaking out. Dude, so much shit happened overseas, that's for sure.
But we need investigations, and we need a political accountability. I mean, how can you have Howard Lutnick, right, who lies to the American people? He says, I never had anything to do with Epstein.
I was never in the room with him, socially, for business, or even philanthropy.
Yeah, no,
Then it turns out that
Bro lied. Then it turns out that he did have dinner with him on the island.
he actually went to Epstein's Island.
We had lunch on the island. That is true.
And then he comes out that he...
So look, my stance, lunch, not dinner, whatever. So my stance is very simple. It's very simple. If you were lying about the Epstein shit, I'm not saying you're a pedophile. All right, maybe you just didn't want me to know you're associated with him. All right, I'm not accusing Lutnick or anyone of anything.
This bag is perfect for all of life's moments. This is the Coach Mini Terry Crossbody bag. Not only does it come with a longer chain to actually make the crossbody, but it also has this adorable gold chain, so I can just put it around my elbow, put it around my shoulder.
Dude, I stopped them when did they score? They scored?
At Cheddar Scratch Kitchen, there's more than enough to go around. Every day, we're cooking up American classics and home-style comfort food at prices that'll make you smile.
No, that's
From our
Kevin.
complimentary honey butter croissants to our larger-than-life baby back ribs, come see why our chicken tenders are
I'm
legendary.
dead.
And our pot pie is so good, you'll think Grandma made it.
Look at her. What a
Cheddar's
big girl.
is the place where you always get a lot for not a lot.
What a big girl you are.
Whether you're a professional or just love getting
like
hands-on
water?
with your home projects.
That's good.
But you lied on the biggest fucking story ever. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta leave. All right, get out. All right, I've been saying this. I've been saying it. All right. At this point, I only trust the people that have been screaming about Epstein for years. Anyone silent about Epstein until now, like y'all have been suspicious as fuck. All right, I made a video on Epstein, I'm pretty sure, like, back in the day when he got arrested, and, you know, and he allegedly killed himself. But all these people, all these rich people that are all literally eating out of each other's assholes, like, we have to figure this out. Ironically, the only people calling out Epstein, okay, this is going to sound weird, the only people calling out Epstein for years has been Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, right? who fucking hated him and literally made tweets calling him out constantly because he was besties with the Israeli leftist prime minister, Ehud Barak.
How are you?
All right? Like, these are the only guys that have been really calling this out for years. Elon too? Not really. Elon's been doing this for like a year or whatever, but Netanyahu's been going after this guy for a decade.
Do you miss
Trump's been going after him for 3 decades.
I miss you.
Or 2 decades.
Allegedly had a business with Epstein after Epstein was convicted pedophile. It's an indictment on America. That in other nations, literally their heads of states are falling if they just had email correspondence with Epstein. And here we've got someone like Lutnick still in government. We need accountability. We need prosecutions of people who actually showed up in the island and folks. And we need, by the way, the cover-up, Dan. What is the biggest cover-up? I just want to explain this simply. The FBI scrubbed these files in March before my law. And the most sensitive information are in the FBI files. That's where the survivors named the names.
Yeah, bro, dude, why on earth do the actual politicians not know this? It's absolutely frustrating that the FBI is covering this shit up. It is so annoying. So annoying, dude. Unbelievable. Oh my God.
People who abuse them. They're in those FBI files.
Dog, the victims named names. The names are in the FBI. The FBI redacted the names. And no one saw them? Why does the FBI have more power than, I don't know, every elected official in the country? We are literally being governed and manipulated by this faceless bureaucracy of retards pushing all this shit everywhere. Like, get out of here, dude.
Donald Trump's FBI scrubbed that in March, and they sent the scrubbed files to Justice. And so Justice then did a second round of redactions. But under my law, the Epstein Transparency Act,
remember when we thought the FBI was on our side? Remember the good old days, frolicking in the meadows, and we were like, oh yeah, the intelligence agencies are to protect us. Yeah, right, dude.
Massey and I passed. We need to have those
What, you said Trump scrubbed?
And the most sensitive information are in the FBI files. That's where the survivors named the names.
Yeah, bro, dude, why on earth do the actual politicians not know this? It's absolutely frustrating that the FBI is covering this shit up. It is so annoying. So annoying, dude. Unbelievable. Oh my God.
People who abuse them. They're in those FBI files.
Dog, the victims named names. The names are in the FBI. The FBI redacted the names. And no one saw them? Why does the FBI have more power than, I don't know, every elected official in the country? We are literally being governed and manipulated by this faceless bureaucracy of retards pushing all this shit everywhere. Like, get out of here, dude.
Donald Trump's FBI scrubbed that in March, and they sent the scrubbed files to Justice. And so Justice then did a second round of redactions. But under my law, the Epstein Transparency Act,
remember when we thought the FBI was on our side? Remember the good old days, frolicking in the meadows, and we were like, oh yeah, the intelligence agencies are to protect us. Yeah, right, dude.
Massey and I passed. We need to have those FBI files unscrubbed. We need them unredacted. And that is where the information is. And the only reason I believe they're redacted is they're protecting very rich and powerful people in this country.
Well, look, I mean, part of the thing that I've appreciated about this push, it's a bipartisan push. Both left and right have gotten behind it. Look, saying, hey, we gotta unredact this. We gotta see who's really in there. You bring up a great point. A lot of powerful people have lied about their association with Jeffrey Epstein. That's been one of the great revelations that has come out of it. But it's
we need to fire Pam Bondi. Look, man, you know what'll immediately get the Republicans so much more like clout? Not even Trump. All right, Trump is president. He's a million years old. Whatever. Vance needs to walk into FBI HQ and say, "I'm the vice president of this fucking country. Show me the goddamn files. Show them to me." All right. I'm not even exaggerating. We would win the midterms like this if he would actually do that. I'm the vice president. Listen to me. Show me the files. I have the clearance, okay? Right? Like, get out of here. I don't know, man. I feel like it's insane.
You know, I criticized Howard Lutnick, but we also have Stacey Plaskett. She's saying...
True. Texting with Jeffrey Epstein in 2013. Dude, we had Hakeem Jeffries texting with Jeff. No, was that 2017, 2013? Like, dude, again, it's funny when we're like, it's a bipartisan thing. While it's true, it is a bipartisan thing. It's like 10% versus 90%, right? The both sides, it's both sides. But it's really not both sides equally, all right? And it's important to know that, all right? The media doesn't want to talk about this, but this is just a fact. In 2008, Epstein pled guilty to solicitation of prostitution, procuring minor for prostitution, okay? In 2013, Hakeem Jeffries solicited tons of money from Epstein. And by the way, so did Chuck Schumer, all right? The guy that's yelling to impeach Trump, all right? He was also taking money from Epstein. 2019, Stacey Plaskett was texting with Epstein during a hearing to get Trump. All right? Like, it is, yes, bipartisan, but it's 10% versus 90%. We need all these people to get fucking obliterated. Legally, of course, all right? Legally. Thanks, I'm not calling for violence.
And, you know, I wasn't a friend of him.
They're not your friends. Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information. Having a real friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have.
And then we see text messages where she says, you know, I'm going to call you my friend. And he says, yeah, don't worry, like, we're friends. I mean, this is a problem that crosses party lines. And my worry is this. Look, right now, there's a lot of push.
The real question is, which powerful people in the FBI, all right, are the compromised people? Because this is unbelievable, dude. It's unbelievable. Which people are that powerful that people like Trump or Vance are unwilling to just, you know, knock the whole house down? Like, because this is insane.
Partisan.
Nux Tacos, thanks for the 10 subs.
Especially from Democrats. Look, we got to hold these people, you know, accountable. I agree with them. I agreed with the Republicans when they said they were going to hold them accountable last time. My problem is this. Next time, let's say you guys get in power. How can we trust
Great question.
that you guys are going to do what's necessary with...
They won't. They won't, because they didn't under Biden. They had 4 years of opportunity. They did nothing with it. All right, so I don't even
like, oh yeah, I didn't even see him. Like,
it's unbelievable.
The next DOJ, because it doesn't seem like we're going to get the DOJ.
Like, the issue is, you know what we honestly need for this country is a new generation of people to start running for elections that do not come from politics.
Best corner in the league.
All right, I know it sounds controversial, but it's the age of the influencer, baby. All right, we need people like you know that are just making political commentary, let's say. Actually start running for office. No ties to big government. No ties to massive checks and shit. We need to get rid of the boomerocracy. All right, replace all these people that are sitting and stewing in a gigantic stew of retards and blackmail and bullshit forever, and put them in with clean slate.
Tard stew.
That's what we need. All right, and if I was a bigger man, I would do it myself.
Fucking retard.
But I'm not, because I don't want to get assassinated. I don't want to get assassinated.
You're not
and I get enough
assassinated.
hit pieces and death threats slandering me and made against me. Oh my God, next year.
Come get me.
You made a video making fun of hentai 5
No
years ago.
weapon formed
We should
against me
kill
shall
you now. All right, no
prosper.
thanks, Hassan. I don't want to die, Hassan, and your audience. All right, no thanks. All right,
No
so
thanks.
yeah, no. The reality is,
No skanks.
that's what we need.
Thanks.
No
We need a new
skanks.
generation of people that are not
I can't
beholden
hear you.
to the gigantic
I can't
political
hear you.
ecosystem.
Skanks you.
To do anything this time. I think we probably both agree on that. How can we trust the next DOJ to take the proper action and hold people accountable?
True.
Well, I think you have to look at the record. You can trust people like Massey and me. We didn't politicize this. We said...
Get the fuck out of here. All right, you could trust me. Right, yeah, sure. And Massey. No, you can't. All right, now, so here's the issue with people like you and Massey. You guys are getting a gigantic
You
clout
don't say
boost
you
for
don't,
doing this.
offer yourself.
So while it's
that's
true
up
that
to
you're doing
you.
an objectively good
You
thing,
wanna
and I'm not
focus
trying to
on
make
it.
believe that you're
Yeah.
not. I'm really happy that we have people actually
I
pushing
trust
for
no
this
man
release.
but
It's an
God.
amazing thing.
That's
Fact,
what he said.
amazing
That's
thing.
what he tells us.
Massey
Consider
has
every
taken
man a liar.
the anti-Trump
Trust
position
no
on
man
basically
but God.
everything. Everything. He has a
And
massive
only
chip on his
take
shoulder, as an
only
example. He's the Republican, but he has a
Take
chip on his
only
shoulder,
guys the truth.
and he takes the anti-Trump position everywhere. All right, Massey
The rest
took
of it's
tons of
all
money from
fucking
Pfizer.
And you know what? It's true. That's why
All right,
people,
very
people get mad about
pro-vaccine
that too.
in that regard,
Myself.
from what I remember.
It's all fucking
All right,
bullshit.
Massey
Everything
was
we
against
talk about,
government
all
funding.
this
He was
shit,
against
everything-
ICE funding.
all
He
this
was against
shit.
protecting,
Your
signing
house
the
payment,
deal with Taiwan. All right, he
your
was
house
against that
payments,
as well
all
because
that shit. It's all
it's
fucking
foreign
it's all
conflict.
garbage.
He goes
It's all
against the
bullshit.
classic
It's all
Trump
bullshit. It's all going away.
maneuver and
None of it
policy almost
fucking
every
matters.
single time.
It's all-
In my
you're
opinion,
fucking
he
running like a
takes that
fucking
alternative
crazy
stands
animals for
Look
nothing.
at you.
for clout.
Here's Bubba.
Now, don't get me wrong. What he's doing with Epstein's amazing, and I agree with some of the things that he
Jungle
said.
Jews.
But he agreed to fund the
Look
government.
at Jungle
under
Jews.
Biden, but he doesn't agree to fund the government under Trump.
Walk as a kid?
Like, really, dude?
That whoever is implicated needs
Drop
to
your
pay the
nuts.
consequences. There are Democratic donors like Bill Gates that are in the files. They need to testify.
True.
Jeff Starmer
Testicles.
is someone I knew. I met with him. He's someone who shares. I celebrated when he won. I have no sympathy for Mendelsohn or the Starmer government. I have no sympathy for Democratic donors or big tech folks, some of whom would
Gonna
support the
knock
party,
these nuts.
who are in these files. I have said that President Clinton should testify, and he is. So Massey and I, the reason we've been successful is we haven't made this about Donald Trump or Bill Clinton or politics. We haven't made this Republican or Democrat. We have said wherever the facts go, that's where we're going to go.
Yeah,
If it takes down the Democratic donors, it's going to take down the Democratic donors. If it's going to take down Republicans, it'll take down Republicans. And why do you think other people haven't been willing to do it? Because we made some very powerful enemies. There are a lot of billionaires and people in this Epstein class who are against us.
That's
So
true.
I don't think you can trust a party per se, but I think you
I
can
don't trust the party. Absolutely not. We need to rebuild this shit.
I don't trust
a
Trump.
track record of standing
Even
up
though he ain't
for
involved
doing
in
the
it.
right thing.
Oh,
I want to
yeah,
go
that was
to.
dope.
And who's
that
that?
was good. I've never
Who's that?
really just.
Is it you? A guy that wants to abolish
It was
ICE?
first
That wants to,
after that-
abolish
after
basic
that,
immigration law? Are you the one fighting for the will of the people?
Fourth
Like,
or
see,
third and what? Fourth
that's
and
the
what?
issue.
After
It's
that
like,
first and 15.
you're right, man. True,
Where's
but
replay,
you know,
Oh, yeah?
this guy's pro child
Yeah,
castration
it's
and baby
31,
murder. So you know,
Where
you
did that
know.
spiral?
The July
Three more.
I mean abortion, all right, not like the Epstein style baby murder.
2025 systemic review the FBI claims it did. They made a bunch of surprising findings because later they were revealed to be, in my view, false. They say one, this systemic review has no incriminating client list.
That time
Well,
you
we
just
see
so happened
internal
to
slide
book it
decks
to make a
basically
fucking
from the
U-turn.
FBI where very prominent names such
Where
as
did he go?
Trump, Jess Staley, Leon Black, Les Wexner, Bill Clinton, a bunch of people have pretty shocking allegations against them. It goes to another part
Again,
of
Oh my gosh.
those allegations weren't corroborated though, and I say that about Clinton also.
It's nuts. Because planner's nuts are good.
I gotta take a shower. I'm fucking.
When a rocket scientist discovered Astroglide, with its stellar, long-lasting glide, he gave humans a better way to explore right here on Earth. Discover the #1 water-based liquid lube, Astroglide. Explore more.
I love you,
Come
Bubba.
on, dude. Finally get a wide open fucking throat. You can't fucking hit it, dude. What the fuck is the fucking deal, dude?
It's evil shit, don't get me wrong. But, these are unsubstantiated allegations. Right? Blank stated Epstein introduced her to Trump, who subsequently forced her head down to expose penis while he bit, whatever, etc., etc. Trump punched her in the head. Again, zero evidence, right? Anyone could call in a tip, right, against a powerful person. Anyone can make a tweet, right? It's like someone makes a tweet and says, that guy's a pedophile. And then it's like, that guy's an alleged pedophile. So the reality is there's no corroboration with any of this.
Remember, they said there's no evidence that's going to predicate an investigation against uncharged parties. Why not even investigate? That's kind of my problem.
I agree. Totally correct. This should absolutely be investigated. But an allegation made by like an anonymous source is like a nothing burger.
Nail on the head. None of these rich and powerful people have even been asked under oath.
True.
Why they were on this island.
He's right about
what
that.
What did they see?
Straight
Who
facts.
were the girls?
He's right.
Who was being...
By the way, all these girls that are victims, they all have names that they know of rich people. They keep taunting. Like, my guy. Dude. See this guy? This guy's a Democrat. Ro Khanna, okay? Call him. They all refuse to name names. So call this guy privately.
Seconds
and be like,
left.
hi,
Get
Ro.
outta
Hi,
here.
it's me. I was raped by blank. All right? Like, why not? Why not? What's stopping you? It's so frustrating.
They've just escaped not just prosecution, they've even escaped investigation. And the Department of Justice could open the investigation tomorrow into these people. People say, well, why are we obsessed about something that happened years ago? First of all, the survivors deserve justice. And it's very callous for people just to say move on. But the second thing is, if we
live in a society where people think the rich can just get away with
Where's the
things
twist?
because
You
of
hear
who
this
they
shit?
are. The powerful can just get away with things because who they are. And you don't have.
Didn't I put it in there?
The Epstein
Yeah.
file. We don't have a democratic government. It's true.
It was
Unfortunately,
right
I wish
there.
we did sometimes. But yeah.
Else, why it's so frustrating is it's exposing a justice
backpack
system
was over
that has
there.
two different
I put
classes.
it in there.
For the weak,
Oh, it's
you
right
have
here.
laws that bind but don't protect. For the powerful, you have.
Tell that to Irina Zarutska, who was murdered by someone that was let out of jail 27 times. Okay? Alright? Like, again, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here, or whatever, but that's just not true. Alright? There absolutely are classes to society, but it's not exclusively rich versus poor. Alright? Unfortunately, it's a rigged system. It is, don't get me wrong. But unfortunately, that's where we're at.
Laws that
Where are
protect
my
and do
chili
not
bags?
bind. I mean, do you agree
It's on
this
the
is what we're
microwave,
seeing
right on
with
top of
the
the
Epstein
fridge.
files?
Yes, it's two tiers of justice in America. That's why I came up with the term Epstein class. If you're part of this rich, powerful club, then
Honestly, the people that get fucked over most in society are like the, you know,
No, that's right. I
the
ate
middle
it.
class,
Hey, Dad.
normal
Okay.
working guy. All right. If you're a regular white dude with a job making $100K a year, the system is rigged against you. All right. That you are the enemy of the system. All right. I'm just
It
saying.
must really be rigged
feel
against
like
me
you're
then.
above the law.
I must.
Speaking of accountability, I
what
want
the
to talk about, one of the claims by the
I
Justice
must
Department.
be
I
in
mean,
the
they say
Matrix.
there's no credible evidence Epstein is
It's rigged against
blackmailing
a guy who's making
individuals.
100K. Holy fuck.
This is a huge problem because the FBI basically failed
Man, I
to
know
get a
they
bunch
fucking
of
put a chip in
CDs,
me
hard
when I came
drives that
to
later were
America.
found
I
removed
know
from
they've been
Epstein's
holding me down on
properties.
purpose.
But there's
Yeah.
this email basically
It's rigged
Epstein
against
sent
the white
himself
guy
about
making
Bill Gates, where
100K.
he alleges that he
Fucking shit.
facilitated trips
Give me a
with Bill
100K.
Gates.
Rig me
Bill
up.
Gates denies this, but
Fuck
it reads
him,
straight up
man.
blackmail. It's like,
I'm
you need
already
to give me
living in
X
the
millions of
fucking
dollars. Otherwise, something's going to come out.
Just kidding.
Well, here's my
I'll take
problem.
my
and this is
Bible
what
and
I'd
do
love for
drugs.
people like Gates to be
Tell you
asked.
that way.
He says he separated himself from
I'm
Epstein.
getting out of Babylon.
And then it turns out he sends a $2 million gift to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein.
What do you say? Get out of Babylon.
Bro lied, eh?
So
Bro lied,
if you
All right. Let's see. What else we got on the docket? Biggest scandal ever. Trilateral Commission.
Joining me now is Alex Newman with the LibertySentinel.org. LibertySentinel.org.
Shit! She's busy.
With home improvement projects,
Well, really,
you want the best. Hire a pro, not a
Well,
cop.
this is where it gets
Hire a
real.
dairy
This is New
member.
World Order. to me.
Find one at the Dairy Home Show.
It's a
Tickets and
distraction. They
details
don't
at
care about who's
DairyMilwaukee.com.
touching kids. That ain't nothing compared to who's taking over the world. You're gonna take your kids just for fun.
Joining me now is Alex Newman with the LibertySentinel.org. LibertySentinel.org. Here, look at this article over there. Deep State Fixer. Epstein's ties to Rothschilds and Trilateral Commission.
He looks like
Just February 9th. February 10th.
He looks like Andy
Reviewing the
Cohen.
Epstein files, biggest scandal
I only
ever.
get to listen to it for a couple hours.
One. Let's get into
It's
it.
not pleasant. It's
Alex,
telling you
welcome
what
back
the
to the
fuck's going
broadcast.
on.
Thanks for being
Instead
with
of
us.
sticking your head in the sand.
Well, it is, but you can only know so
All right,
much.
a lot of people are familiar with the
My
Rothschilds,
brain is
and then of
always-
course
I
a
got
lot of
Alzheimer's.
folks
Well, boy, do you know they're
use the
mad.
name of the
Who's
Rothschilds
Who's
in their
involved?
support of
I want to know who to stay the
Zionism,
fuck away from.
Breaking
the
news.
Jewish state,
They will,
to
they
then
will let
tie
you
all of
know.
this up to Epstein, and then to push a lot of anti-Semitic
They will
rhetoric
let
I'm
you
hearing.
know.
First of all,
So is your ass-
what do you make of that? That people are doing that.
I've known about this for a very long time, and in fact, some of the most faithful, believing Jews that I know, who truly embrace the Torah, who truly do their best to follow God as outlined in the Old Testament, the prophets, etc. They know about the Rothschilds, and they loathe the Rothschilds, and they speak out against the Rothschilds, and they say that the Rothschilds are not real representatives of Judaism. In fact, that should be obvious if you are embracing the the kinds of things that the Rothschilds embrace, how could you also claim to embrace, for example, the Mosaic Law, the 10 Commandments that were given by God to Moses on Mount Sinai? And so I think it's really important to make that distinction. Even many faithful Jews and even many Jewish Zionists, hardcore Jewish Zionists, absolutely reject the Rothschilds and do not regard them as legitimate representatives of their people group, their identity, their religion, their ethnicity. I think the same is true with George Soros. You look at George Soros, and the guy runs around saying he doesn't believe in God. He runs around saying he thinks he is God. He feels like God. That doesn't